All right, guys, I got a special one for you, hopefully. Today, we are going to do a tasting of Jim Beam Rye. Yeah, but this is a special one. This bottle costs $2.99. It's from 1980 something. So let's get this in the glass, and then I'll tell you a story. You want to hear a story? Okay, so I'm going to pour a little bit of this in the glass. And I was gifted this bottle, okay, from, I am a plumber by trade, okay, and went and did some work at a lady's house, and she said, you fix my leak, I'll give you some whiskey. And this was a unopened bottle of Jim Beam. When I looked at it, the research that I've seen and found, it's somewhere in 1980s. It could be as much as 89, could be as low as 80. I'm thinking it's about 85. Just true transparency, I have sampled this out to everyone and their dog so that they could try it. So if you want a sample, hit me up. Okay, so it is bottled at 40% alcohol. But what you have to understand when you get into what we call dusty bottles, right? I know you know all about dusty bottles by now, but once you get into dusty bottles, you have to think 40 years ago, their distillation methods were different. So the way that they did things, the grains that they got. Now, I'm not poo-pooing big whiskey, right? Make your stuff. But back then, a lot more of the grains were not genetically modified and were not sprayed with pesticides. And it does alter the flavor of said whiskey. And this is minimum, I want to think this is 6 years old, 5 or 6 years old. So that's one of the things that you need to understand. Older whiskey doesn't mean that it's better. Just because it's been sitting in the bottle for 40 years, that's not going to make it better, right? It doesn't age anymore in the bottle. But what it does is it showcases a time period back then when this is the distillation method that they had. A different master distiller or whatever, different cuts, the way that they might have got a brand new still. Who knows, right? So what you have to do is you have to go back, and then once you look into it and you're like, oh man, that's nice. You know, it's history in a glass is what it is. So you can find out how to win a sample of this later on. Let's get into it. And I am going to score this, but I almost shouldn't because you can't get it. There's no way you can get it, and I'm not going to buy it. And I was gifted this, so it's a gift from somebody, and I greatly appreciate it. And I was able to help the lady out, and you know what? She furthered my whiskey journey as well. She actually gave me quite a few bottles. Her husband had passed away, which, you know, that's really sad, but, you know, no need to waste good whiskey, right? She's like, I don't drink it, take it. I was like, all right. So I actually got quite a few bottles, old stuff here, with some scotches and some other things. So let's get into it. On the nose, it's really light. There is some rye spice. I looked Jim Beam's recipe for their rye up. I want to think it's 65% rye. And then the rest is corn, and I think 5% malted barley. Don't quote me on that. All right, let's get on the taste. Solid. It could possibly be the slightest bit oxidized. Now, I will tell you, it does have a screw top on it. So screw tops are less likely to oxidize, but they are plastic. So the plastic on the, see, it's plastic on the inside as well. So that plastic could be leaching, vaporizing, or whatever you want to call it, into said whiskey, therefore altering the flavor slightly. After 40 years, we all are altered a little bit, right? So understand that. So I'm looking past that little bit of oxidation, we'll say, right? And looking at the actual flavor is so nice. It is just very cohesive. There's nothing outlying, and at 40%, it still has flavor. It has this cinnamon spice to it, but it's not overpowering. It's there, but then it has that caramel, creme brulee type flavors. It's almost like it was a a cinnamon creme brulee. You know what I mean? It's really nice, and the finish lingers. I'm getting some mintiness even now talking to you. So it's really nice. We are going to rate this. So let's go ahead and give it a rate. You know, as you well know, you know my rating system by now. It's on nose, taste, palate, and would I buy, but we're not going to even do that one. I will buy more Dusties. So we'll just say, would I buy more Dusty whiskeys? How about that? So on the nose, and it's 1 to 10. So there's a maximum of 40 points you can get. Okay, on the nose, it's light, but it has that caramel, that cinnamon, maybe even a little allspice. It's not punching me in the face with ethanol, right? I am going to give that a solid 8. Yes, it is excellent. Excellent, excellent. All right, let's get it on the taste. That's the part that you guys came here for, right? It's a short ride, but the ride that's there is really nice. I mean, obviously people back in the day, which I'm sure there was whiskey connoisseurs back in the 80s and stuff like that as well, that drank their whiskey neat and all that. But a lot of the profile of bourbons were made to be mixed. And they were made to have be made into old fashions or sours or drank on the rocks or, you know, with soda. So just take that in mind. The flavor profile that's there is that creme brulee with cinnamon. It's a little spicy, and then a little bit of mint. No dill, no anything like that. It's not off-putting in any way. And then it's abrupt. It abruptly kind of stops. It kind of washes out at the end, which is okay. Which means I would give that a 8 as well. All right, let's move on to finish, which I gotta have another little sip. Sorry. And I'll try and have some 80s music playing in the background while we're doing this. The finish is short. It's minty. It's vanilla cream. It's has a little bit of spice, just a little bit of spice. Nothing outlined, and then it's kind of gone, and just leaves you like with a methanol, not methanol, menthol taste in your mouth, like you just ate some Andes mints or something like that. You know, you kind of have that minty taste in your mouth at the very end. So I'm going to give it an 8. I think it's really good. Now, would I buy again, or would I buy another Dusty, or get another Dusty, or procure another Dusty? Absolutely. I feel like it's a showcase of a certain time period that needs to be shown. Because new whiskey is great. Don't get me wrong. New whiskey is amazing. But finding some older bottlings of something is where it's at. So I'm going to give that a 9. Yeah, I am. Because I am actively on the hunt. And I think when you go through your whiskey journey, right, it's like Pokemon. You want to catch them all. But then once you get the unicorny stuff that you want, then what? Then what do? You start going back in time. And you're looking at old Dusty Heaven Hill, or Old Forester, or Wild Turkey. You know, you start looking at these legacy brands and getting some of their bottlings from a long time ago, right? And that's the journey, right? So the total will be right here above my head, or on my head. Excellent whiskey. So here's how you can get a sample of this. If you would like a sample of this said whiskey hand delivered to you, is all you have to do is follow me, like, subscribe. Well, follow and subscribe are the same, right? Give me a thumbs up as well. And then also in the comments down below, put hashtag 80's rye. And I'll let it run for a little bit, and then I will pick the winner, and we'll do a randomizer, pick the winner, and I will hand deliver your sample to you. So if you like this type of content, please do what I just asked. Follow, like, and subscribe. But also, if you want before the episode exclusives, if you want a podcast just for yourself, go to Patreon, patreon.com/thewhiskeyshaman, and sign up today. We're having some fun over there. Yeah, it was a great time. I appreciate you for hanging out with me. It was a lot of fun. And y'all be good. Drink water. Drink a lot of water. And until next time, keep your spirits up. Peace.